Hello, my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Howling After Dark. Sorry about the technical difficulties there right at the beginning. Not sure what was going on there, but it seems to be working fine now. Anyhow, I have some big news for myself and my team, Ghostal Paranormal. We have been asked to take part in a TV show. That's right, folks. We are going to be on Destination America on a little show called Paranormal Survivor. I am reaching out now to anybody that might be listening that we've helped with a house cleansing. Please contact me. They want to hear your story. So you can contact me at ghostwolfj@gmail.com. That's all one word, ghostwolfj. Or you can find me on Facebook, same name. Or you can even leave me a message at ghostwolfradio.com. I'm trying to get a hold of a few people about the show because they want to hear from us, but they also want to hear from the people that we've helped. So that they can tell their stories, because they want the kind of like scary, fearful side of what happened, and we can't supply that because we weren't a part of that part of it, I guess. Anyway, so there you go. In other news, some really weird and cool frickin' things have been happening to me lately. I've been working my butt off, by the way, in my day job. For those that don't know, I work for a rescue called One of a Kind Pet Rescue. And I just did like 3 doubles in a row. So, yeah, I was exhausted. Today was my day off, and I needed it, so... but like, aside from that, like, a lot of weird stuff has been happening. Like, things are just starting to come together. Like, this whole thing with the TV show, and it's too soon to really talk about it, but I will say that I've been spoken with about the possibility of Howling After Dark going on national radio. It's still in the early stages, so I can't say any more than that, but, you know, big things. Also, we are taking part in DeBoard's Halloween Festival. We've actually been there the past 2 years, but this year we get to be in on the planning stages, and I'm trying to work something out with a certain location very near to my house, actually, that I'm going to be contacting these people about the possibility of doing some kind of charity kind of raffle event with the Halloween Festival, and like the winner of the raffle gets to do a ghost hunt there either that night or the following night for free. And it'll be open to the public, and everybody else has to pay to get in. But like one person or you know, however many will get in for free. I haven't figured that part out yet exactly, but you know, a lot of things, a lot of really cool stuff is happening. So, you know, very happy about that stuff. But anyhow, it's like the whole concept of the show, the TV show, Paranormal Survivor, for those that haven't heard it, is basically they'll interview the people affected by the haunting, and they'll also interview the team that either investigated the events or helped them in some way. Um, and but I didn't know that at first. I must admit that when I first got the call, I wasn't really all that familiar with Paranormal Survivor. I think I'd only seen like an episode, and it was a long time ago. Um, like when they first started. So, after I got the call, I kind of binged watched a bunch of them. But it got me to thinking, like, if they were just going to interview me, what story would I tell? And I guess I would have to tell the one I'm going to tell you tonight in part one of tonight's show. See, as many of you who have been longtime listeners now know, I've been able to see spirits since childhood. I actually nearly died when I was very young, and as a result, I see spirits. And a lot of children do, but for whatever reason with me, it just never went away. Um, and it's not limited to just ghosts, by the way. If it's a spirit, I'm probably going to see it. So there's that. Also, it got me to thinking about, how I got to where I am today. See, all through my childhood, even through my teenage years, I kind of just accepted this gift of mine. But there was a point in my life, in my 20s, when a bunch of stuff was going on, and I basically started to deny it. I had been involved in drugs. My 27 years clean now, folks, by the way. No. No, probably like 25, actually, but point is in my early 20s, 20, 21, 22, thereabouts, I was involved with drugs, and I was kind of denying my gift. And I denied my gift for years. I'm still very interested in the paranormal, but I didn't want to see him. And I kind of denied it. I kind of shut it down. Until one night. See, I was living out here, East Coast. And, I kind of lost myself, I guess you could say, and I ended up going back to San Diego, California, where I spent a good deal of my childhood. And when I was there, I didn't really have a place to go. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any job prospects. I was basically broke and homeless. And I don't know if it was karma or fate or just really good luck, but I ran into a friend of mine. His name is Matt, and Matt had married a girl I kind of dated at one point named Lisa, and really sweet people. And they let me live with them. For like almost 2 years, like a year and a half, 2 years. And so I had a home, like just like that. I went from having nothing, no prospects of anything, to having a roof over my head. Within like a matter of minutes from when I stepped off that bus from Pittsburgh, actually. And I'm forever grateful about that. But it was actually Lisa's mom's house, and a very nice lady herself, by the way. But there was something up at that place. Like part of the house was not originally a house. It was like, I think it was like a horse stable or something, and they kind of built a house onto it. I don't know why, but I'm like, okay, whatever. And things are good, things are great, but I kind of got the feeling something was up with that house. And then one night, I was asleep on the couch in the living room, and I got this blanket over me, and it's like this big, it's actually like a sleeping bag, and it's like one of those ones that are rated for like 10 degrees below zero, so it's plenty warm. But for whatever reason, I just had this chill come over me, and it was like from head to toe. And I was dead asleep when when I suddenly felt this, and my eyes snapped open, and I'm sitting there laying flat on my back, looking up towards the ceiling. Only I don't see the ceiling. I see this huge black figure hovering like 3 feet above me. And the way this figure looked, like the only way I can describe it is like if you recall like the classic Christmas story, A Christmas Carol, about Ebenezer Scrooge. It was kind of like how the Ghost of Christmas Future looked. Like, it kind of gave the idea it might be the Grim Reaper, but you never saw its face, so you never really knew for sure. That's kind of what this thing looked like. It looked like a cloaked, hooded figure, but you couldn't see a face. It was just a black spot where the face should be. And you couldn't see its hands. It was like it was covered by the sleeves of the cloak, and it was just hovering there, like floating, and like the edges of this cloak were just billowing out like tendrils reaching out to both sides of it. And it didn't say anything to me. It didn't really do anything threatening to me. But didn't have to. Because the undeniable feeling that I got was as if it were saying, "You have ignored us for long enough." It didn't want to hurt me. I knew that. But it definitely wanted something from me. And so I got back into it. I started embracing my gift again. And I started, I'd already been in a paranormal team at this point. But I really hadn't found my place. I kind of did just whatever, but this event found me my place. After that, I was the guy you want to have the camera. Ever since that night, I've captured groundbreaking visual evidence, whether it be on a camcorder or a still camera. And I would show you, except I don't own all of it. In fact, most of it I don't. Because it was, with other teams, and I'm not going to fight them for pictures I took, even though it was while I was on their team, yada, yada, yada. And I don't really care, to be honest, because they were all just stepping stones to get me to where I am now. But the point is like, I embraced it all. And that gets me to thinking, like, how many people deny the paranormal, and by extension, deny their own gifts? Because if you think about it, as children, we see ghosts. There's no denying it. We see ghosts. Until our innocence is taken away by the world telling us that they don't exist. And by that kind of cynicism. That, oh no, ghosts aren't real, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they are. Because here's the thing. Children see them, animals see them too. And if animals and children both see them, sorry, but that's enough things that can see them that I would ask the question, maybe the problem is me. Maybe I'm the one that can't see them. It's not that they're not in existence. Maybe the problem is that my judgment has been clouded on this subject. It's been invaded by the outside world and the skepticism of the world's viewpoint on it. So if you take anything away from tonight's show, I would say take that away from it. Maybe if your child is telling you about this imaginary friend they have, maybe you should pay attention. Maybe you shouldn't just write it off as the imaginings of a child. Maybe you should tell your child to embrace their gifts, because what's the worst that could happen? Because I embrace mine. And do you know where I'm at today? I don't have any fear. Let me repeat that for the cheap seats. I don't have any fear. None. I have had them. I have since faced them and conquered them all. The reason why? When you cut through all the bullshit, the reason why I've conquered all my fears is because I embrace my gifts. Because when you embrace something, you no longer fear it. Because here's the truth. No matter what kind of fear is, it will cripple you unless you face it and conquer it. And I've conquered all mine. I used to be afraid of heights. Now I climb rocks. I used to be afraid of dying alone. Now I know I'll never truly be alone. Because even if there's no other living person around me, the spirits will always be there. I work in an animal rescue. Case in point, I work in an animal rescue and we have a dog. Lovely, beautiful, gorgeous blue pit bull. And she was severely hostile towards other dogs. She wasn't simply dog aggressive. She would actively try and kill another dog. And it didn't matter what the dog was. She would try and kill it. She would do her best to get to it. And she started to redirect towards people. So what did I do? I started training her. And you know where that dog is now? Like in her I guess you could say, progress. Now, she's still a little bit aggressive towards dogs, but I trust that dog so much, I would open her mouth and stick my face in it. And no, she would not bite me. But I never would have gotten to that point with her if I had fear. I mean, yeah, sure, she could have bit me at any point. She could have gotten me by the neck and I would be dead. But those things don't scare me. I've been bit before. It's not that big of a deal to me. It's a moment of pain. That's it. And I face down pain too. And guess what? Pain is my bitch. People say that you fear what you don't understand. And I agree, for most people that's probably true. But there's things I don't understand, but I'm not afraid of them. Because I know I'll either eventually understand them one day, or I won't. But either way, it's not going to hurt me. And it's when I realized all of this, that night, when I was confronted with this huge, Grim Reaper looking kind of spectral figure hovering over my sleeping place. It was when I was confronted with that figure that I finally asked myself, what am I afraid of? It was then I finally realized that there was no reason I shouldn't be who I am. And since that night, let me tell you where I'm at. I'm surrounded by people that love me. I'm doing what I want. Yeah, I'm not, rich or anything, so, there's limits to everything, but I have probably the best dog in the world. I'm surrounded by people that adore me. I've got a good job. I live in not only a nice house, but a historic house and a haunted house. I live right down the street from one of my favorite haunted places in this whole area. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are things that stress me out practically every day, but doing rescue work, that's kind of par for the course. You know, not everything is easy, but I love my life. A lot of people say they love their lives, but they don't truly mean it because they don't understand what life really is yet. Truly life. I mean, understand what I'm saying here. I love my life to the point where if I die tomorrow, I'll be okay with it. I haven't done everything I've ever wanted to do, but I've done a lot. I've lived more in my lifetime than some people twice my age. And that's not bragging, understand that. I'm not at all bragging. It's a statement of fact. Because, and it proves my point, I have no fear. When you live a life of no fear, nothing gets in your way. Things that used to matter so much mean nothing because you know you can conquer anything. When you live a life of no fear, the possibilities are endless. I've decided I'm going to get a new motorcycle. I don't have it yet, but I'm going to get one. It might be next week. It might be next month. It might be, the end of the year. Either way, it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen because I want it to. I want to be an animal rescue. That is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And in the meantime, I work for these great people, one of a kind, who, yes, I may not like everything that happens there. Yes, I may have a problem with the way certain things are done sometimes, but all in all, I love these people because their hearts are in the right place. And because I do this work, I've achieved all my dreams. I have my own house, my own dog. I mean, that may not sound like a big deal to a lot of people out there, but understand something. For a good chunk of my life, I lived in apartments. I was never allowed to have one because the apartments wouldn't allow them. But because I live in this house, I could have a dozen dogs and nobody can say anything because I'm responsible for it. I don't technically own the house, but the way that the company I rent from is, they don't really care. I could sit here and punch holes through the walls with a sledgehammer. They don't give a damn because I'm responsible for the repairs. And it might take me, 10, 20 years, but, everything that needs to be fixed in this old house is going to get fixed. It might take me a lifetime to accomplish every single last thing that I want to do, but it'll get done, or at least I'll try. And my whole attitude about life can be traced back to that one night. That one night, like, without any words being exchanged, without, anything at all being said, just this specter of this ghost, this spirit, whatever it was, appearing above me. as I opened my eyes from sleep was enough to change my life forever. That changed my entire outlook. See, I pity most people because I see them struggling. I see them in jobs that they hate. I see them in, these situations where, like, they have a house and, like, this mortgage, and they have to work two jobs, and they're just basically miserable. They have all the money, all the resources in the world, basically miserable because their lives are completely ruled by fear and they don't even know it. Because they haven't had their specter, their ghost. They haven't had that spiritual, that emotional wake-up call. I have friends to this day, and I love them to death. They're afraid of this stuff. They are afraid of ghosts. And I feel sorry for them. Because they don't understand how beautiful it is. Most people don't understand that. How truly beautiful and amazing the paranormal world really is. I mean, yeah, you're going to have your good and bad in everything, but this kind of like gorgeous mosaic of the spirit world. I wish everybody could see what I see. And I know some do. I know some do. I think I'm probably one of the most prolific clairvoyants in the world, to be honest, because the things I see in such detail. But I don't feel like I'm alone, necessarily. I feel like I'm just kind of rare. And, that's my gift. Everybody has one. They just have to embrace it. So, I guess the question you have to ask yourself is, what are you willing to embrace? What are you willing to give anything for? What are you willing to face your deepest, darkest fears to accomplish? And then ask yourself that, then realize something. Realize that it's possible. I'm living proof. I'm living proof. Because, I prove it every time I go out. Every time we go investigate somewhere, that is me proving it. That a life lived without fear is a beautiful thing. Now, I'm not saying you'll never feel fear. Of course you will. You kind of need it. It is a survival tool. Because fear is what keeps you alive much of the time. But what I'm talking about is that overpowering, paralyzing, dreadful fear that paralyzes most people day in and day out, and they don't even know it. They're worried about kids and, sending them to school and college later on. They're worried about their mortgage. They're worried about, Is their spouse happy? They're worried about their job. They're worried about whether or not they make enough money. They're worried about taxes and doctor bills and everything else. But the reason they worry about all that stuff is because that's fear ruling their life. Simple as that. It's fear. And I'd be willing to bet that every bad thing that ever happens, somebody somewhere can trace it back to someone being afraid. And that gift to you by telling my story. That's how my fear left. That's how my fear went away. That's how it no longer exists. And that's why I live such a great life. I don't have everything. I probably never will. I don't really want everything either. But I do have almost everything I want. And the reason why is because there's no fear. And there's no fear because I face this specter, this ghost. So, food for thought. Alright, so I'm going to leave you here with part one, with the little treat, I guess. I recorded me playing drums. I am, by the way, although a rusty one, so bear with me. But I recorded. This is like the first session of drums I've recorded, or one of the first I've even played in like at least 20 years. So here you go. I think it's decent. This is Jay on drums, recording one.